interestingly, when you have a very heavily matrixed organization, one of the things you do to try to help everybody in that organization is have very prescriptive processes for how things are supposed to get done. So you end up getting lots of detailed formal processes that people follow so that they don't fall off the cliff, so to speak, but it also puts them in a lane and keeps them there. And today's world, you need to adapt pretty quickly, and sometimes you need to get out of that lane because that's what some segment of the consumers is really hungry for, and you got to be able to follow them there, and that's very hard to do. So if you don't have deep functional expertise in many silos, and if you want to get away from having so much matrixing that you've got to have these highly prescriptive processes, where do you go? And one of the great things is you actually can go to simpler structure. It doesn't have to become yet even more complicated than it was before. And we do see a lot of organizations returning to more simple structures in which you see areas of responsibility defined that are broad enough for a person to manage them pretty holistically. And they have what they need to make the set of decisions for a brand, say in a certain geographic region, that they can quickly make an integrated set of decisions. So it's a devolving, again, of decision rights. Right. More general management-like people running these sort of carved out spaces, markets, areas of opportunity. You're saying, go run with this. And rather than super prescriptive processes, what you have is very clearly defined doctrine, for example, or a really clear sense of purpose for the brand. And that's what the guardrail is. It's not the step-by-step process. It's, this is what our brand stands for. This is how we mean to create value in the world. Okay, you manager in India, you know, you're a bright enough person who's been trained across a number of disciplines, and you have resources available to you from specialty groups, but none of them is going to tell you what the right answer is. You've got to really put it into your local context and make it work there.
It really does say something about the kind of people that organizations are going to need in the future. And if you think about the way people are generally brought up today in these siloed organizations, they've got very set career paths. So you become this specialist, and then you become second-degree black belt in that specialist, then third-degree black belt in that specialist, and all of a sudden you're a highly talented specialist. And the world is getting too complicated to continue to fragment, as we said. So the metaphor that we've used in other settings is that we need more hockey players and fewer football players, just because we don't need people who have very specific roles. We need people who are a little bit more fungible and are comfortable with a little bit more ambiguity. They're comfortable with things changing, and frankly, with those, it's unlikely that there's going to be any slowdown in the pace of change in the communications landscape. It's going to be incumbent upon teams to be able to flex to what's going on. And the problem is, if you've got let's take any kind of a marketing vehicle. If you've got a direct mail department and you've got a group of people whose job it is to send direct mail, it's really hard to say, well, maybe we shouldn't be doing direct mail anymore, because all of a sudden we've got all these people that we can't repurpose to do something else. So we really do need to think about how we develop people, how we get them to be these hockey players, these integrators who are comfortable across different communication challenges, so that it's not like we have to go hire another set of specialists to deal with a new problem, or create a new department called the integration department, who has to take all the work of these folks and
at integrating.
Exactly, they're specialists at integrated, and most of these companies have specialists at integrating who don't have any decision rights, which makes it even more challenging.